value of having actual skills and like fundamental skills comes into this because, you know, I think we'll all agree that, you know, working in music production has become democratized, and I'm 1,000% for that. More people making music, but you know, there's some there to the person that like understands signal chain and like understands like vocal compression and to be able, because if you put in your 10,000 hours doing that in whatever capacity it is, then when you're under the gun and the heat's on, you don't have to jump into a CLA preset. You're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, and that, and it's going to be way more informed, way more tailored, and will probably live longer down the chain.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of times when I'm cutting CB, for example, on the CLA tip, the way we're moving, there's no time to be like, oh, let me try the fuzz box, and then let me put the H delay on that, and it's just like throw something on there that makes his vocal sound really cool. Yeah. And then later, when I mix it, that CLA comes right off, and I'm starting now to do what I would have wanted to do in the moment. But there's no, like when the energy is coming from the singer or the artist, there's no time to explain, oh, I have to pull up these plugins and that. They just want it done, right?
It's a why. It's a why question. What we're trying to do. Trying to make it happen, trying to get the artist excited. We're trying to capture something.
Throw that CLA, Chris is happy as can be. You know what I mean? And then I go home and I fix it.
And that's
what the goal is, right?
That's what matters at the end of the day, because nobody at the end of the day is listening going, I wonder if they use CLA. Like, that's for stuff.
Oh my God.
I could just see him like getting out of bed, like, oh, God damn it.
No, I have a rule now that, like, I don't know where everyone else is at this, but like, I don't ever want a session. And if I get a session, Josh, my engineer, like, commits everything, because I don't want to see if they use CLA. I don't care. Like, if it's there and that's what it sounds like, that's fine. I don't want to see it. I'm too much of a geek. I'll like move the fucking bite down a little bit. It's like, fuck that, leave it. If that's how everyone loved it, leave it. If you can give it to me without the slap delay, that's out of time and not cool out of time, like that I'll take. But
well,
anyway.
You were saying this, and we don't have to name the artist, but you were saying before we got on here that you're working on something that has a lot of those preset plug-in things in there, but they're all making wild sonic decisions and crazy, but then they give it to you.
But because of
you
that,
get to make decisions.
And I'm asking for it printed because, again, I don't want to see or deal with whatever they have going on. What they have in the demo sounds dope. To say dope meaning like it sounds cool, right? And I don't want to mess with that integrity-wise. I don't want to. They have doublers on there, whatever on the lead, cool. Print it to me, and then I'll EQ that and fix that and do whatever I need to do from that. Because the minute you give me that and I start taking that apart, it's going to sound worlds away from the demo. Even if switching, like taking the doubler off and putting wider or putting on spread from swivel or whatever.
It doesn't sound
it's not the same, right? So I want it like that. Now, when a record comes to me and it doesn't have any of that shit and it's just dry or just reverb and delay, cool. I'll then take apart what I don't want. But when it comes like that, you can't really mess with it. You know what I mean? Because that demo's being listened to right now millions of times by that artist.
Because it also, not only has it been listened to the artist, but it's informing the decisions that the artist makes. It's a bit like we were talking about reamping in our episode where, you know, for guitarists, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll take a dry signal in addition to the amp so they can play it through another amplifier later or
you record the DI so that you can choose your amp
later. You know? But the problem is that if you've ever played a guitar, how you play is entirely different based on what amp you're playing. If I'm playing through a little Princeton, I'm playing it entirely differently than if I'm playing it through a rectifier. So, I mean, also I don't want to steer anybody wrong out there by shitting on CLA. One of the biggest artists I've ever worked with, who's also a producer and also a writer, and has a separate $10 million studio house in Hollywood, like he's done great, has CLA on every single thing that he does. I mean, it's a tool. Max and Luke lived off the Bomb Factory 76 for a decade. Does it sound like a 76?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Does it do something that they liked that inspired them and made shit cool?
Right.
Absolutely. And that is the goal at the end of the day, but you have to put your 10,000 hours in to understand what those tools actually do, so the result that you're able to create best matches what you've heard in your head and your heart.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, all of this content is free. There's no secret knowledge here. There's no Patreon. We don't read ads. We don't have sponsors. We're just trying to build a knowledge base. All that we ask in return is that you share it with somebody. Thanks so much.